Hey guys, welcome back. It is Thursday, which means it's my favorite day of the week because I get to hang out with you guys. But today is a little bit different than usual because I'm also hanging out with one of my probably most influential people in my life and someone that I greatly look up to, and I hope you guys feel the same. I'm hanging out with my good friend and baby boss. I'm just going to call it that, Cody McGuffie today. Hey friend, how you doing?
Hey, Leslie, what's going on?
Nothing much. I'm super excited to have you here today. We have a lot of questions that have kind of come in over the past couple of months since there's been some transitions, some enhancements, some advancements in the EverBee space. And then also there's just been a lot of stuff that's been happening in e-commerce and online business in general.
Yeah.
So a lot of fluctuations, a lot of advancements, AI being brought into a lot of businesses in bigger ways than ever before, including of course EverBee Store. So I kind of want to chat a little bit about some things that some of our people in our community have brought to the attention, but I also just kind of want to get the community to learn a little bit about you as well. Who is Cody? What do you bring to the table as an entrepreneur, not just the CEO and founder of EverBee,
Yeah.
So if that's cool with you, I would love to kind of just first dig into a little bit behind your background. Nothing too crazy long. I'm not asking you to give me a whole life story because I know we all definitely could, but where did EverBee come from? What brought this about, and why do you feel like you're the right person to help lead this e-com initiative?
Wow, that's a big question.
That was a big one.
Well, first of all, yeah, thank you for all of that. Thank you for the kind words, and I'm really excited to be here too. I love interacting with you, and also just interacting with our community. I think we were talking a little bit before you record. We just have an incredible community. I couldn't even dream of the community that we have. I mean, I think we have 30-something thousand people inside the Facebook group, and that's just the Facebook group, right?
Yeah, and we just hit 34 today actually on YouTube, so it's wild. It's a huge group of people that are I think what we were talking about before we went live today was I've never felt more capable of getting on a live or capable of responding to a comment more. I don't know about capable is the word, but more so calm when I do so, just because we have the coolest people, the most supportive people, and kind of to be honest, the smartest group of people that I've met in a long time.
Yeah, and we have the group of people that we serve, right? With EverBee serves and you serve, and we talk to all day, and kind of the people that we are, I think, is I think genuinely just really good human beings.
Yeah.
That want to make a difference in their life. I mean, what else could you ask for, right? And they want to do it in the right way. They want to do it ethically. They want to do it with hard work. They want to do it creatively, which is really important. And yeah, I want to say just how grateful I am for that. It's a special thing. But to go to your question, as you hopefully most people know me, you probably got a million emails from me today. Probably, but my name's Cody McGuffie.
Yeah.
My name's Cody. I'm the founder and CEO of EverBee. We have started this company 4 years ago. We have a team of about 45 people, majority of it in engineering and technology department, and probably about 30 something people there. Incredible team with incredible customer base. We serve over 1 million people across the world now. Actually, we're about to hit 1 million, so I may be a little bit early there, but
wishful.
And yeah, you asked how I started EverBee, I think, right? That was the question.
Yeah. Or what made you start EverBee? Was it usually, as you know, in e-com or in service-based businesses, there's usually a need. There's a missing piece in your own life, and then or in the people around you's lives. So then you make a product that serves that. Can you give us a little bit of background behind that?
Totally is. It totally was that. So first, I started my career, I would say, when I graduated college, and I'm like, I want to make $100,000 a year. That's what I said I was going to do. And I was going to do it through a full-time job, corporate job, because it was the opposite of what I saw in my family. They all had small businesses, and it was blue collar work. And so I almost pushed away from the entrepreneurship route, which was interesting. Yeah. And and the reason why I did that is because I saw all the downsides with entrepreneurship. I saw them stress, financial stress, physical stress, there's physical labor. I was also working in construction my entire life coming up too. And so I saw all the downsides with it. I did see upsides, but they weren't as prominent. And they didn't have healthcare. We didn't have health insurance. Like, you had to pay for your own stuff when you're a business owner. And then I kind of just like, I'm going to go and get a stable job. I'm going to have health insurance. I'm going to support my family in this way. And that's what I'm going to do. So I went and did this, and I'll try not to spend too much time on this, but realize that, oh, wow, you don't have the freedom that this is why people start businesses, is so they have more freedom. And so then I'm like, oh, I get it now. The entrepreneurship game is actually where you should be. You just got to play the game properly. And I don't know if I had a bunch of examples playing the game the way that I think that it should have been played. And so at that point, I'm like, okay, I got the entrepreneurship bug around 23 years old, started reading tons of books, moved into a couple of different businesses while working full time. One of them was, I worked for a tech company called Qualcomm for a number of years. And so I was just around technology all the time. But I was also starting the side businesses too in e-commerce. Yep. And it was really before print on demand was really a thing. It was like in drop shipping was like the thing.
Yeah.
So that route. And then it was Amazon FBA, which is still a thing. But that's kind of the route that I went. And I was using these tools for Amazon and for building like my own website and things like this. And I just saw these gaps naturally. And at that point, I caught this bug of technology too. So at this point, a couple of years into starting my like online businesses, I said, okay, I know that I love technology. I love freedom. This idea of like being your own boss, you can create your own life. And so then it was like, how do I just marry these things together? And at that point, one of my e-commerce businesses, we transitioned to Etsy, and we just found immediate success on Etsy. When I say immediate, like months rather than like, years. Right. We just understood it. I understood the problems. I was doing research like manually, and
the good old days.
Like I was literally like going to a listing and like tracking the amount of reviews it had and putting it on a Google sheet, and I would track just like hundreds and hundreds of product listings inside of my niche, and just like going and then I'm updating the sheet. And I'm like, has to be a better way to do this. I know there was keyword research tools out there, but there wasn't really like a product research tool out there like there was for Amazon. So then it was just a matter of like, oh, this is my opportunity to marry technology with another love of mine, e-commerce, and do these things. And this could be my thing. So that's kind of the birth of the idea. It didn't happen in a bang. I wasn't even sure EverBee was going to be EverBee. I didn't know it was going to be my main thing. I thought it was going to be a side hustle until I find my next thing.
That's cool.
But then it just kind of morphed into more and bigger and more thinking and bigger thinking. And as soon as you start serving customers, you start to really appreciate, the value that you bring. And that's the exciting part.
That's so huge. And I'm going to like pick something out real fast. Obviously, he's not prepared for this question. It just randomly came to me. But you said, I got the bug for the entrepreneurial spirit, and then I got the bug for e-commerce. So you said both of that. I don't know if you noticed that you said that, but I'm wondering, is that why we're a bee? Like where did EverBee, like the name and the logo, like thinking about how that ties to Etsy, where did that come from? If you don't mind me asking.
No, thank you for that question. I get that question occasionally too. And I hope I do a good job of answering this because it's not like anyway, I'll just tell you how I think about it. When I think about EverBee, and I have this memory that always comes up in my head of when I was living, I had my first son, his name was Axton, and we were outside and we would always appreciate bees. And I would always look and there's a little bee and he'd be super afraid of like, oh, because people are afraid of bees because they're going to sting them.
I'm allergic to them. So yeah, I get it.
Sure. And he was afraid of them. And I was like, no, like we're not afraid of bees. Bees are a blessing. Bees are a blessing to literally every single person, every single vegetation, all the fruits, all the vegetables, all this stuff is because of bees. And they're a beautiful thing that are a very crucial part of our ecosystem. So I've always had appreciation for bees.
That's cool.
Mix that with they've been here for ages and ages and ages and ages, right? Since the dinosaurs and before that probably. And they're just genuinely like helpful for the human race. And so I've always appreciated them. And then when other things you want to do when you name a company, I've named a lot of them at this point, is you need to have something easy to say, easy to spell, needs to be available, of course.
Right.
And then ideally it should mean something to you. Ideally, not always a requirement. And so bees was going to be the thing. And then we just threw ever instead of it in front of it, mostly because it was kind of like ever, like forever would be a crucial part of a seller and a creator's ecosystem. And so that's why EverBee's named
That's
it.
awesome. It's so funny you say that because I know the three, like the nomenclature for the brand names, like what you're supposed to do. I went completely against the grain personally on that. So my brand is not easy to spell at all. And it's if someone tries to like look me up with what they think the word is, they won't find me technically. So it's funny you say that because I've been probably beating myself up for about, I think I did mine. You said 4 years. I want to say, what are we in 2025? It was exactly 4 years ago. That's crazy you say that. It was April, May of 2021 is when I started that name too. So it's funny that we're kind of like on that same trajectory. I just made the name wrong.
Do you regret it or do you?
Not at all. 100%. Because what you said was like, it has to mean something. Mine means two things. So it's very, very much so still makes sense. And then it's funny because mine, I don't know if anybody knows this, but mine's Evolution, but it's spelled with instead of TION, it's SHEN. So I made it for two reasons. One, I wanted to be constantly evolving because digital marketing was going to be constantly evolving. So I never wanted to be someone like for, clients that I worked with or for customers that I served. I never wanted to be someone that they saw as fixed. Or immobile or like unwilling to learn or not flexible, inflexible, whatever it was. So that was my thing was like, I wanted to be constantly evolving because I knew that the industry that I tied myself to was going to be. And then the other one obviously is I just had a really, really big heart for serving like females who felt that maybe they weren't able to do like what we do. So I wanted to make sure that they knew that absolutely you can and your power is within you and let's like bring it out and let's make it happen. So that's where like kind of the SHE came from. So no, by no means do I regret it. But I think I just put a little bit more precedence or importance on it has to mean something than the spelling.
I think it's important, but it's not so important, right? Like you don't have to nail those three things, every single time. I think it's really at the end of the day, I mean, there's brand names out there that are terrible, but they're super successful companies. So it's more like a rule of thumb, but it's not necessarily the end all be all.
Yeah. What's interesting is because I work with a lot of freelancers. So a lot of people who want to kind of do what I do and they want to start a business serving others. So not a product-based business, not a SaaS-based business, not even necessarily like a print-on-demand kind of product-based business. They want to actually do like services. And there are so many people in the beginning stages that get hung up on the name. And then it'll be like 4 weeks later and then they're in their journey and they're like, I'm still just stuck. Do you think this is a good idea? Is this a good color scheme? Is this a good logo? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all of those are fine things. Like we're going to need them one day. But what we really need to do is like, who are we personally? Who do we want to be? What do we want to be known for? Who do we want to serve? What are that person's problems? And how do we serve them? And then, in my opinion, that's actually, it's funny how this all came about and kind of how yours came about as well, is my name came to me after I was serving people for about a year. You know what I mean? So then it was like, oh, well, like I've had to evolve like 40 times in the past 12 months. Let's add that in there somewhere. And I got a lot of value and happiness and joy and energy from serving these types of women. Let's add that in somewhere. You know what I mean? So I just wonder if anybody on this live stream is like experiencing, like if you're in that space right now, or if you feel hung up on something, I might punch a nerve here. So I hope I don't. But usually what I've experienced when I've really gotten to like the meat and potatoes and like deep down with those people is they were stuck on that because it was something they felt that they could control, instead of the potentials of what could come afterwards. So if you're in that space right now and you feel a little bit stuck, I would just kind of encourage you to maybe get curious and figuring out like, why am I so stuck on this? And maybe I can think instead about how can I serve people? What products do I want to do? Whatever. And then try to see if it comes to you that way instead.
Yeah. I think, you know, I think most people get hung up on the wrong things. It's okay to spend time thinking about certain things that are really big decisions, but naming your company, I'm sorry to say, it's not a big decision. It's not a big decision anymore. Don't make the fact that you think it's a big decision is probably your ego is so big because you think that you're gonna be successful the first day you open new doors.
Interesting. Yeah.
And that's not true. You're going to have to evolve 10 million times before you even get your first, 100 sales.
Yeah.
So you'll probably change your name, and that's totally okay. I changed many, many names of companies, and you rebrand. Who cares? No one's watching anyway. You don't have any customers.
Right.
So,
no one's there yet.
Yeah. So stop worrying about things that you
Totally.
shouldn't worry about yet. Apple and Facebook and Netflix and these guys, they need to think about their names now. Like they need to think about these things, but you don't.
Right.
So you can call it literally the worst name ever. But if you're serving the right people with the right service, then it doesn't really matter what your name is.
Agreed. I love that. Go ahead.
So I think so. That's part of the reason why like EverBee Store is built the way it's built. It's like when someone comes into the prompts, like we name your store for you.
True. Yeah. And
then we build like all the stuff for you based on like the niche that you choose. And the reason why we do that is because we don't want people getting hung up on,
smart.
I need to go research my name. I need to go look at the trademark office. I need to go do this. I need to make sure the domain's available. No, none of that matters. You can rename your stuff later on. Matters is what kind of service you want to bring to the market. And then of course they want to change those things later on. Great, they could change those things, but it's kind of like in my DNA to like just move past all the fluff. You can figure all that stuff out later on. Too many entrepreneurship and amazing ideas are killed before they even start. Yeah, and it irks me because there's so many creative people out there that just want to bring something to market, but they don't actually do it because of a name or a product issue or a platform issue. So anyway.
What's interesting too is what you were just talking about, like just thinking about the prompts in the beginning of EverBee Store. It kind of like walks you like so quickly, which I loved because like you said, it's in my DNA to skip over these things, but it might not be in someone else's DNA who thinks that branding is a logo, is a color scheme, is typography. And not saying EverBee Store skips over that by any means, but it's just kind of like click here, click here, click here. Now let's get to the actual stuff like pretty immediately, very, very quick on. So it's interesting because when I think about branding personally, I always think about the person, not the brand. So it's never like, who is the brand? Of course, that's important, but it's never like, what are the colors of the brand? What is the style of the brand? It's more, who is my person who I want to attract? And how do they need to hear things from me? So instead of like, I'm going to come up with a brand voice without knowing who that person is, how the hell do you come up with a brand voice then? Because you need to know how to speak to that person. You need to know what language they use. You need to know like how you plan on being seen through them or by them through their eyes. And then when we think about like messaging, like identity and how do you show up? Like for me, I'm going to be fully transparent here. Like in my own personal brand, I use a little toxic words probably sometimes, but it's because I am very blatantly showing you who I am right here so that you know exactly what you're getting when you get there. Like if you want to work with me, whatever it is, right? So I really think that if people could also look at when they think about, I want to build a brand, or I want to, this is another thing too, is like, I want to build an Etsy store and they're not really interested in the branding piece. They just want to like make sales on Etsy. Yeah. How do you feel those things could go together, or how do you feel they could play against each other, play with each other, whatever, for the same person? Like, is someone able to just make an Etsy store? I think I know the answer in my mind, but just make an Etsy store, or do they have to make a full brand? Or do you think that there's like a middle ground for one of those people?
I think Etsy, the way they look at Etsy and they look at Amazon and these other marketplaces is that what they are is their marketplaces. They're someone else's land. You're renting a property or you're leasing a space on their land. Their rules, their rent, they can change it. They can change the terms. They can change the fees. They can change the algorithm. So it's a beautiful starting ground because they bring you traffic. And you don't need to worry about the brand, for example, so much. You know, you kind of just like, you have a great product, you have good mock-ups, there's a little bit of branding stuff in there. But the point is, like, you don't need to worry about all the other stuff. The downside with that is you sacrifice control, like you're trading off control now. So I think I'm not sure if this answers your question, but I would suggest that most people look at it this way. Like Etsy is and Amazon as well. They're a sales channel. But they're not your brand. And I feel like your brand is central to you, and it should be probably your standalone site, your EverBee Store in this case. And then you can create sales on Etsy, beautiful. You can create sales on Amazon, beautiful. You can create sales on Walmart.
I mean, Instagram, like literally anything. Yeah.
TikTok, all that stuff.
Mhm.
But your core is your
home
site
base.
and your brand. That's your home base.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like your core value of your business anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be like the enterprise value of your company. If you ever want to sell it one day or pass it on to somebody, like that's what they're buying. You can't really trade off. You can't really pass off your Instagram account and it be worth much. It's going to be worth a little, but not much. Same thing for your Etsy store. I don't know if that answers your question about branding.
You did. You did. Okay. And so the thing is, like, a lot of people in our community currently, they're in like the beginner to pre-beginner to intermediate stage. So there are a lot of people who might not be in the place yet, from the thousands of people that I've personally worked with under EverBee, that they might not be, or they might be in the place where like, why do I need a website? I'm either doing not well at all. I can barely get sales on Etsy. I can barely keep up over there, or they are doing really well on Etsy, but they're in the mindset that it's because they've got it nailed down and Etsy is driving them traffic. So if you don't mind, I would like to pivot a little bit to say, what is your advice on the person who asked that question initially? So why would I need a home base myself if I've already got either problems or greatness on Etsy, either or? And then how do you also answer the traffic question if it's not a marketplace, an algorithm that is driving them things themselves?
Yeah, it's a good question. The way that this question it's really case by case. I would say depending on the individual, how much the learning they've done, how much confidence they have, how much money they have, maybe how much, whatever, are they taking a course? Are they like totally learning it all from the scratch for themselves? So it can kind of change. But generally speaking, I would say remove the fluff. If you want to start a business and you're starting from zero, then you should start with the easiest thing to do. And that's probably Etsy. Like just start an Etsy and start getting a product, because you don't even understand what a product needs. You don't understand the images. You don't understand pricing. You don't understand anything about transactions, about payment processors, ads. You know nothing. So just like start with the basics here. Otherwise, if you start with probably starting your own site from scratch, the learning curve is pretty big. You can totally do it. There's lots of people to do it. But there is a bigger learning curve. And so I would kind of consider that. Now for the people that are crushing it on Etsy, when I say crushing it, that's all relative, of course, but let's just say $10,000 a month, maybe $5,000 a month. Point is they have their feet under them. They think they understand the game. Maybe it's $1,000 a month, but point is you're ready for something bigger and you want to have more control and more freedom and all this other stuff. Then that's the mentality that survives or that thrives on having your own site, like an EverBee Store, because you have this learning mentality. You've got your feet. You understand how this whole e-commerce game works, and that's when you can really scale and change your life, typically, because you have more control. When Etsy and Amazon, it can be life-changing as well. It only takes one product to kind of like take off and completely change your game. I've seen it happen. I've experienced it myself. It's beautiful, but you don't control it. You don't control it. It's kind of like a little bit of luck. I know some people say that it's not, and there's pieces of it that's lucky and it's not. And like you work hard, of course, and you have a great listing, great design. Yes, that's true, but you're relying on an algorithm that you don't control. Yeah. When you have your own site, as soon as you figure out a product that works, and then you figure out how to get traffic to that product, you can, for example, with paid ads, you can spend infinitely and be profitable. You could spend $1 million a month, and you all of a sudden now you're doing a $50 million business. Right. So it's depending on what your ambitions are, and there's in betweens on those things too. Yeah, that's how I look at that. I'm curious how you look at it.
Yeah, so it's funny because my business is more on the social media side. And I had a Squarespace storefront. It's not really a storefront. It was a website. It was like a kind of like a portfolio of sorts, because that's just like the business that I'm in. And I made it, I want to say, what year? So yeah, it was December 2023 when I decided to go into a different, like more of the education space. So instead of me being full freelancer and me doing all of the services myself, I kind of wanted to also help other people. So in December 2023, I made my Squarespace one, and I never touched it. until I made my EverBee store this year. Like it was just sitting there and it was all of my old stuff and it was doing nothing. It was driving nothing because I was utilizing kind of different from what you said for Etsy, but almost the exact same thing. I was using social media to drive sales. But like you said, I don't own that. I am not in control of that. I just hope to God that maybe Instagram wants to push my stuff one day. Or like you said, I have to pay for ads to get pushed. So when EverBee Store came out personally, and I'm not just saying this because you're here. Like I truly talk to people completely unrelated to EverBee Store. Like I talked about your product, aka my website. I didn't even talk about your product. It was like, this is my website. This is where I'm hosting these things. And this is how you could show your portfolio as well. All of my other fellow freelancers, creators, whatever. So I'm not just saying that to gas you up at all. But once I figured out that, yes, I was getting a lot of money from Instagram, quote unquote Instagram. But it was like the brand itself, the services itself, the people I was serving. Unfortunately, YouTube is actually the only, give or take, it's the only platform where people can find you for years to come, right? Instagram and TikTok, if you do not do well over the first like 24 to 72 hours, you just got to do it again. And those platforms thrive on that. And I love Etsy, not going to speak ill of Etsy at all, but they also thrive on that as well. Like how many more listings could you possibly create? How many more 20 cents could we get from you for all the new listings that you create? So I kind of learned the hard way that I was really just output, but my people were confused. So I needed a home base and my Squarespace was not doing at all what I wanted it to do. It didn't have the functionalities that I wanted. I was very limited on what I was able to do. So personally, I decided to transition unrelated to you guys. Like y'all didn't ask me to do this, but you just had this new product. So I was like, I'll check it out. And it just made the most sense for my people because now it is all under one umbrella. I can serve clients and I can serve people. I can have YouTube videos there for additional layers of education. I don't do this personally myself, but I could do physical products if I wanted to, or I could sell my services, which I do. I could sell courses. I could sell subscription models. Like it was just the one thing that is kind of ironic what you were saying about EverBee normal, just EverBee earlier, like the brand itself, the umbrella brand I was on Amazon, I was on Etsy, and there were some things out there for keyword research, but I saw gaps that I wanted to fill. And I personally, from experience, by being on Shopify, by being on Squarespace, by being on Wix, by being on WordPress, I know those gaps because I've experienced all of them myself. And EverBee Store literally filled those for me. Which was absolutely crazy. So I just wanted to thank you, first of all. You don't know that I'm not saying this, but I just wanted to thank you for coming up with this product. And I wonder what, like, not a transition by any means, but it's like you've scaled and you've built on top of what already existed. So what made your brain, if you don't mind me asking, go from EverBee Research to EverBee Email to EverBee Store? I know you want to just help anybody who's a creator make a business, right? Is that really where this all came from? Or what made us think that like EverBee Store was the second direction you wanted to go?
Thank you for asking that. So cool. So if you notice that like all of EverBee's branding and all of EverBee's products are all centered around one type of demographic, which is a creator.
Right.
Not just like a creator, like a content creator though. We define creators differently at EverBee. But we consider creators like you and me are creators, even though I don't make content every single day. People creating a mug with a candle on or whatever, some sort of mug, a funny cat mug, right? They're creating that. That's a creation. And so that's at the center of everything that we think about. And this is what we call customer obsession, right? We're just thinking about the customer first, and then the innovative ideas because the customer has so many problems. And then if you think about them and we focus on them, then all of the problems come up and then we just solve the problems.
Yep.
And so the way that I see it is EverBee Research, what we're primarily known for the past 4 years, is it just solved the problem. EverBee wasn't necessarily always thought about being just a research tool forever. It was a tool. We're EverBee. We happen to provide EverBee Research and data analytics for products. EverBee Email, those same customers what do they really want? The same creators. We all want we all want like time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. How do we get those three things? We have an online business. How do we create an online business? What do you need for an online business? Well, you need a product that sells. You need to have a relationship with your customers. So EverBee email was like, well, they need to build a relationship with their customers. So EverBee email. And then EverBee Store was, okay, well, what does our creator really, really want? Well, they want, again, time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom. They need an online business. Okay, what do they need for an online business to be successful? They also need to they need to have their own platform, because we see too many people getting like suspended or algorithm killed. And so that's EverBee Store was the perfect evolution.
Nice. There's that word again.
That's a beautiful word, yeah. To just really what our creators really need and for their next stage of growth. If I look back on it, when I was working a full-time job, I was probably 24. So maybe I'm 33. So maybe 9 or 10 years ago, I was talking to an software architect, about building a platform, a commerce platform. And we were talking about Shopify, and we were discussing like the ups and downs of it and how it was built, because I didn't really know how technology was built 10 years ago.
True.
That's why I was asking him. I took him to coffee. And that's really when it sparked to me, like, oh, I want to be a platform. Wow. I want to be a platform to like enable businesses. I didn't know how to do that yet. And if I were to start just by being a platform, then it wouldn't have been successful. I didn't know enough of the gaps. So it's really cool to like look back on that coffee with that guy. And look back like, oh, wow, 10 years later, we actually have a platform. We enable thousands of people to build their businesses. And that's a beautiful thing. I think it's just, I'm grateful to have that responsibility. And
it's huge.
It's amazing. Like, what better way to spend my life is than to help others build businesses to support their families and support their foundations, build big companies for themselves or small companies, pay their electricity bills, pay their car bills, like buy themselves gifts, buy their families gifts. It's an incredible thing. So I don't take it lightly.
I love that. And it's funny you said that, like maybe it's a smaller amount, it's a flexible amount. It's really just, it's yours. It's personalized. So what do you want to make on a monthly basis should be equated to how do you want to live a lifestyle on a monthly basis. So do you, like my mom, for example, she's a perfect example. Back in, I think 2023. So it's been 2 years now, which is crazy. I got to go congratulate her. It's been almost exactly 2 years, but I taught her how to be a freelancer full-time as well. Wow. So she does that all the time now. She's a editor, proofreader, and copywriter. So she does that for a bunch of different brands. And she just always says,
really, really cool.
Yeah. Well, because that's the best part about it. And I think you'll agree with this too, is would you make a product that you would not sell to your family or friends? Absolutely freaking not. Like you want to feel so convicted in that product or that platform, or in my case, that kind of like education, if you will. Like you want to feel so convicted in that lifestyle that you're willing to give it to your mom. You know what I mean? So
like all my sisters
nice.
Use EverBee.
Yep. I always see like someone McGuffie in the comments and I'm like, I know they're related somehow, but I don't know who it is.
And it's so cool because sometimes they'll like, she'll text me and be like, hey, like I'm struggling with this. I'm like, damn, like that. You shouldn't be struggling with that thing.
Yeah.
And so I immediately sent it to the team. I'm like, hey, like this user, I know this user so deeply. I know what she's thinking. I know why she's struggling with this. And so it's interesting. Anyway, I want to go back to your mom though. So how's she doing?
You're good. Well, she's doing so good. She at the very beginning, and it's funny because I think everyone goes through this, because you just mentioned I was getting coffee with this guy. I had this dream, this vision 10 years ago. And EverBee was born 4 years ago. Right. I've been the exact same thing. You and I spoke when we were in Dallas last year, that like I always had an entrepreneurial spirit, but I just assumed, like you said, that it had to be a side hustle to a normal person job. So I was always ready to kind of get out, but I didn't know what that looked like either. So it's just funny that like it's the same exact, timeline. And we all go through those growing pains at the beginning. So with my mom, for example, utilizing the income concept, she's like, I don't want to make 10K a month. I just want enough money to pay my bills and buy my favorite skincare. Like she has this like ridiculously expensive skincare in my opinion. But she loves it. And she's like, if I can do those things, I am absolutely living my best life, because what she wants to do, a little bit of two things, but my grandmother actually just recently passed away about 3 months ago, and she battled dementia for the last 2 years of her life, unfortunately. So my mom was kind of like her caretaker during that period. So that is why she got into this business. Not to tell her story, I'll maybe get her on one of these days to tell her own story, but she really needed the time freedom so that she could focus her time and energy and affection on her mother. And she also, the second part of it is we're, I don't know if you can see my tattoo. We are huge Disney adults. And she lives in Orlando. So she's right next to the parks. And I always, literally, I swear almost every time I'm calling her, if it's after 4 p.m., she's like eating dinner at Epcot or something. That's what she's always doing. So she just wanted enough money per month to feel comfortable doing the things that she loves, and also the time freedom and the clients. And because we say freedom like with 3 different ways, I also say client freedom and expressive freedom. Those are the other 2 that I like to say, is like, can I show up as my most full authentic self and feel like I can? And if I can, I feel like I'm winning. Exactly. Yeah. And then client freedom is, can I work with people like Cody who will accept me for that person? So being able to have like those 5 things is, I think, where everyone, like, they're foundationally going to start. And I think there's so much noise on social media of, here's how to make $500,000 a month without doing anything. And it's just all this nonsense that I think tricks our brains, unfortunately, into thinking that if I don't do that, I am not successful.
Yeah.
But I just really encourage everyone watching this live today. There's this exercise that I do. I usually do it like once every 3 months. I probably should do it more, but you need to write down, like, what does your ideal day look like, including work, excluding work, whatever, and then build your business around that. And then you're pretty much always going to be satisfied, in my opinion.
You know what? That's a really cool exercise. I've done that many times, not only on the day level, but also like the month level and the year level too. And that is so powerful for anyone that hasn't done it, watching this or listening to this. It's really important, because I find that most entrepreneurs, they mean really well. They really want to like make a difference. But the reality is that they end up forgetting what they wanted to do, or not being clear on what they're actually even trying to achieve. So if you're not clear on what you want out of life or out of business, mostly out of your life, and business is more of a vehicle to get you to that ideal life. That's the way I look at it. So first you map out, like, what does my ideal life look like? Be flexible with it, but map it out. Like, do you want to be a good mom? Cool. Like, make sure you write that down. Like, what does a good mom mean to you? And like a good dad, and how much money do you want to have in the bank? How much money do you want to have cash flow? How much, like, what kind of foundations do you want to give to? What kind of whatever, all these, like, think about these things. And then what happens is it creates a filter, natural filters for anything else that comes into your life as an opportunity. You either filter it out or you consider it, as long as you are clear on what you want out of your life. What I find is that the most incredible, smart entrepreneurs, if they don't have clarity on what they're trying to achieve in their life, they will look like they're silly. They will look like they don't know what they're doing. They'll bounce all around. You'll have shiny thing syndrome, going from this idea to this idea, and they'll think it's really cool. People will think that they're important because they have like 10 different businesses going on that have barely any revenue. But the reality is that's actually not cool. It just shows that you're undisciplined and you're not clear on what you actually want out of your life. If you see entrepreneurs that have 1 business, maybe 2, max 3, probably, depending on their level, of course. Like, then you look at them and you say, interesting, because that's a disciplined person. When I talk to someone and I'm like, what do you do for a living? There's like, I do this. I'm like, I couldn't go into business with you. I don't even trust you. Not you're not a person, but you say yes to way too many things. And when you say yes to too many things, you're saying no to all the important things. And so I got off tangent there.
You're good.
But it's an interesting thing. I see this time and time again. Great entrepreneurs make this mistake.
Something that I love about you as a business owner with EverBee is you always find a way somehow to challenge us with the core beliefs, the core values that, like, I don't know if you created it or if like the team created it, whatever, but anytime we're about to make a new decision, or we're about to hop on, like, you know, like your quarterly, all of us there kind of team call, Yeah, town hall. Yeah, yeah. You always kind of go back to those core values. And when we're thinking about doing a new product, you're like, these core values are aligned with this because, or are they not? And then we're not going to do that. So I love that you do that because it's exactly what I do in my business. And I've done it so many times now that it's just become natural. So I have technically 5 core values, but I do 2 of them are the most important ones to me. ABL is always be learning. So like I said, I want to evolve all the time. So how do I do that? You got to stay on track with like what's actually happening. And then the other one, most important one in my opinion, is impact over income. So I need to know for a fact, like when I hit my head on the pillow every day, did I do that? Did I stand by that? You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of cool how you were saying like the measure of clarity and the measure of your why. I personally 100% believe that. And I also believe that your why has to be strong enough. So it can't just be like, I want time freedom. Cool. Why? I want time freedom because I want to be able to be in control of things. Cool. Why? I want time freedom because I want to be in control of things because I wasn't in control for a very long time because of my childhood. Now we're getting somewhere. You know what I mean? So like really getting in that exercise of what do I want my life to be like? What do I want my day to be like? What car do I want to drive? How many people do I have around me? What kind of friendships I have? Like when you're doing that exercise, I would also encourage you guys to just keep asking yourself. It's called the 5 whys exercise. Just say something and then be like, okay, but why? And then say the next deeper thing. And then, okay, but why? And then say the next deeper thing. And I promise you, you will get to exactly who you are at your core, which then you can build the business of your dreams from there. It's my favorite exercise.
I love this exercise. I do this often too. And we do it sometimes when we like think about products and stuff too. But I love that you mentioned this. And here's the funny thing about this. It's not funny, actually. It's kind of sad, but
it's like dark humor, I guess.
Most people just heard you say that.
Yeah.
Oh, go do that. Oh, let's say that's a good idea, but no one will do it. 1% of people will actually do that exercise. Because I've given this advice to many, many people over the past, pretty much that similar thing of just like getting clear on what they want. Everything else, it comes natural after that.
Agreed.
And then they're like, how do you do that? Well, I'm like, I tell them something like what you just said. Almost none of them actually do the thing. None of them actually go and do the thing. And because it seems like maybe too complex and maybe they feel like they don't know how, they're just stuck in like this loop of, well, I probably need to like sit down in like a quiet place to do it.
Right. I need to meditate.
You literally have to just get your notebook out and start writing down for 2 minutes. What do you want in life? And then do that probably on a daily basis until you get
literally until it's ingrained. Yeah.
People underestimate the power of this. It's huge. There's something that I do very, very often, once a week, literally, actually, at nighttime. I'll work like 1 night a week, like super late. And I'll use like from 6 p.m. to like 12 a.m. I'll just be like drinking coffee and like thinking about those things at a coffee shop. And I literally just use it for like deep work, such as like asking those questions that the day just gets too busy and too loud. You can't really ask yourself those always. But if you're in a quiet place for a long period of time, you can kind of get into that flow state and you can really start understanding, okay, what do I want out of this life that I have? And that helps me a lot. I've been doing that for probably 3 years and it's been an incredible experience.
I love that. And I think it's a perfect segue to something that I wanted to talk about for the people that are obviously hanging out with us today. We're talking a little bit like unintentionally. This is like completely off the cuff, which I love. I think that this has been such a powerful conversation because it wasn't structured. So usually I'm like, here are your 13 questions and I have them over here. I haven't looked at them once because this has been just so powerful and so impactful in my opinion. So I hope you guys agree, by the way. If you are enjoying this, do me a favor, boop that like button on the video, first of all, so we can get this, information out. Hopefully the exercises and the tools and resources out to as many people on YouTube as possible. But going back to the mindset piece that we have unintentionally kind of gravitated towards, what mindset shift? I don't know if this is going to be something that might take us a little bit of time to answer. Hold on, there's a little bit of reverb. 1 second. There we go. Sorry. I don't know what was going on. I had to mute myself. So what do you believe is the mindset shift that someone needs to tackle, needs to accept, needs to overcome, whatever it is, in order to go off of Etsy into building their own brand elsewhere, even if it's not EverBee Store, even if it's just quote unquote on Instagram, like I was for 2 years. Like, what is the major mindset shift that you believe? We've talked about tools, we've talked about exercises, but what's like the one thing, the best next step that they can take today?
It's a great question. The mindset first, I'll start there. The mindset is, I want more control, I want more freedom, and I want to go bigger. Typically that, if you're comfortable with your sales on Etsy, and you don't really want to, it's not keeping you up at night, like thinking about what if the algorithm changes and my sales go away, then maybe you're not ready for that shift, because it's going to take another learning curve. But if you're like, okay, I've thought about what I want out of my life, I want to build this brand into be, $10,000 a month that I feel good about, and I want to be able to count on the sales every single month and not feel like I'm worried about some SEO changes, somebody does, then that's the mindset shift. I think that starts to happen. So getting clear on what you want. So for me, it was getting clear on like, oh, I'm going to build we'll talk strictly finances for a second, just because it's very objective. I'm going to build a multi-million-dollar company. Got it. Okay. Well, how do I do that? Okay. Well, it just filters out a whole bunch of other businesses that are not necessarily, best for that. HVAC company, harder to build. Oh, I'm also going to build it on my laptop.
The labor intensive kind of things.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to have a construction company because I want to build it for my laptop. Got it. And so think about like that first, of like, what are you trying to achieve? And then if EverBee Store or having your own site aligns with that, then that's the mindset shift you need to have to go into it. And as far as how to do it, as soon as you make that shift, it's very simple. We built it to be very simple. So it's like, if you already have Etsy listings, it's like, a couple minute import process to where now you all have your listings. Then it's a matter of just like, okay, cool. Now I'm not relying on a marketplace to drive me traffic now, but I have the house now. Now I need to like bring people to my house. And so then that's the whole marketing strategy aspect, which we haven't touched on too much yet, but touching on it a little bit is, that's where the power comes in. It's a little bit more learning curve, but as soon as you crack it, that's your future. And so there's a whole bunch of strategies and tactics to drive traffic to your store. But primarily, I mean, the way that you just have to master one, and it's more than enough for like whatever you're trying to achieve. It could be affiliates, like meaning like, I think you call them like, I forget what you call them, influencer marketing.
Yeah, give or take. Like just the UGC is usually what I do, but same concept.
Yep. So UGC, influencer marketing. You have Facebook ads, Meta ads. You have TikTok ads. You have creating your own YouTube channel. It's organic, or you can actually pay for YouTube ads. You can choose which one you want. So for me, like I've learned Facebook ads over the years, and that's something that I prefer. Probably a mixture of UGC and influencer things too. And then I look at like building a YouTube channel, and I look at like building a TikTok following and Instagram following as more like a long-term play. It doesn't bring sales like tomorrow, but you can literally turn on paid ads, and you can start creating traffic tomorrow. And it's the power is not necessarily in just getting the sale from the Facebook ads. It's the power of you capture the email address, and now you have the email address you have the automation for EverBee email like running in the background too. So now you're building a relationship. So you're building this system that compounds on top of each other. That's really where a creator wants to be, or they should be at least. What do you think?
Agreed. My biggest thing is actually, and I think my answer would be your answer if I hadn't gotten into the weeds with a lot of creators one-on-one. And from what I've seen, it's like the biggest mindset shift that I think any of us can just try to absorb is just knowing, like fully knowing and fully believing, even if you have no idea how the hell you're going to do it, that I'm capable of doing it, whatever it is. Like there are so many freaking people, because I've seen all of them. Unfortunately, there are so many people online that are so much dumber than you, making so much more money than you. And it's just because they believe that they were capable. And it's just because they figured it out. And it's just because they might be doing some non-ethical things, which we obviously don't do on this side of the internet. But whatever it is, like they did the work, they took the action, they took that step that you're just a little bit maybe scared to do right now. So if we can just like wholeheartedly believe in our gut that we are capable of figuring it out, even if you aren't capable of like the success in your mind yet, just assuming that you're a resourceful person that can figure something out. I think just even going that one little step, just having, I know confidence is not easy to get. Trust me, I struggled with it for a very, very long time. I'm talking 7 years or more. I still struggle with it sometimes. So confidence is not something that comes naturally. It's something you have to work at every day. But if we can even just do a little bit of a mindset shift that like, even if I am not necessarily successful yet, or even if I don't even know what that looks like, or even if I have no idea what product or whatever the case may be, what business I want to build, I just know that I'm very resourceful and I can go on YouTube and figure something out. Like, just to know that about yourself and go that mindset shift is just like one extra step in the confidence journey that's going to get you to the next thing. And then once you're done with the resourcefulness piece of yourself, moving on to the next thing of the capabilities of learning or whatever it is. So that's what I usually like to say too, is I think people are sometimes just stuck in the, I'm never going to be able to be as good as that person, but you have no idea what that person or what that business or what that brand did to get there. And you're on your own journey. So if you can even just like apologize to yourself for not thinking that you're able to get there, because you 100% are, it's just a matter of those little micro steps on the journey.
Nailed it. I think that's so golden. What you're saying is that, to me, is that most people just give up because they don't even start because of that. They don't feel capable. They don't have the confidence to do it. And the reality is you have full capability to do it. If there's someone that's done it before you, that means that you can do it.
Agreed.
Straight up. And I loved how you said that there's people that are dumber than you crushing it, and they're no better than you. Mm-hmm. And you don't really notice that until you start meeting more people, and you're like,
right.
You're just like, oh wow, intelligence is not the thing here. Actually,
for real.
It's actually just like, what is it then? It's focus.
Yeah, I think it's just action taking, like you said, being diligent earlier. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would say probably the biggest thing is probably taking action. Like, and I mean like relentless action every single day. And action, don't fake work. I think a lot of people, especially the younger, my nephews and stuff that I always share with them, of like, just don't fall into the trap of faking that you're working, because that's a trap. And when I say fake work, they're just like, what is fake work? How do you know if you're fake working? I'm like, well, did you order business cards before you're like talking to customers?
Yep.
Are you thinking about your name for the last 2 weeks and you're calling yourself, you're saying that you're working? No, it's not work. Are you working on your website without thinking about like a marketing strategy, like getting in front of creating a product? Are you like tweaking every single piece of word and period? All important, but just don't mistake it with actual work. Yeah. So it's interesting. Take a lot of action, and I think you'll get there.
Yeah. And I think we also live in just such an incredible time where we talked a little bit about the rise of AI at the very beginning of this. Like there are, like I use custom GPTs that I built for myself and my clients every single day, where like I have like an AI assistant that works for me 24/7, that just kind of like does what not that I don't want to do, but it's like I've done all of these things so many times for so many people that now I can package that into something. And then now thousands of people can do the exact same thing. So we're in such an amazing time, something that's never been experienced before. And that means that you have the ability to utilize AI if you want, or you have the ability to go on YouTube. But like whenever I was starting freelancing back in January of 2021, there was like no YouTube videos about it. I had to figure this out 100% by mistake. So like, I just had to take action and be like, well, that wasn't right. And then try it again the next time. So you guys are in such an incredible time of like life, or just the world in general, that we have so many resources to pull from at our disposal. So I just really encourage you guys to, hopefully, first of all, this was encouraging, that this conversation that Cody and I have had today did get you excited, made you want to do some movement and get some momentum in your business, even if it's, like I said, just that next step of believing that you are capable of doing this. If we did nothing else today, but we made you feel like you can believe in yourself, we 100% did our jobs today. So with that said, Cody, I know I don't want to keep anybody too long. I swear we could probably do this for 3 hours or more. But I want to get a better understanding too of like what's next for EverBee. what can the community like expect from you? Like, how you and the team and myself going to serve them over, let's just say, the next year or so?
Perfect. I mean, I thought you were going to say 10 years because I think about everything in like a
Like,
10,
I don't know
like
yet.
I think about everybody like a 10-year time horizon minimum.
Good
Like
for you.
100 years it would be ideal, but that takes time. So over the next 10 years, we're going to see single person companies that grow to $10 million, $50 million, $100 million per year.
Agreed.
With one person with no employees. That's what we're going to see with the rise of AI. And it's not there yet, even though you might hear that it is. It's not there yet. The technology is not quite there yet, but it's getting there. It's trending there. And what you expect from us is we're going to be innovating in that space to try to make sure that happens. Because I believe that at the core, capitalism is a very good thing. Not a perfect system, but I think more small businesses, the better. Less huge companies, like the better. More power for certain individuals and people and freedoms for certain people, the better. And with AI, the way that I look at AI is it gives more power to the small business owner. It gives you more leverage. And so maybe Leslie doesn't own just one company in the future. She's owning 5 companies with AI employees, that are just making things happen constantly. That will probably happen at like more of the landscape. EverBee wants to play and be a pivotal role in that space. So what you'll expect from us is you'll expect EverBee Store to be integrated with like a whole bunch of things: your YouTube channel, your TikTok, your socials, your email, your EverBee Store data, your EverBee research data, and it should be able to. They call it agentic AI. If anybody's curious, nerding out on it, but you should have little micro agents basically doing tasks for you, marketing tasks, sending out emails, scheduling email campaigns, all based on your brand, all based on your ICP, all based on your tone, your voice. That's the way I see it going. That's what you should expect from EverBee if we execute our job properly. Because AI is going to help so many business owners and give leverage back to small businesses, which what we're all about.
Yeah, and which is also going to go back to that original thing that we all said at the very beginning. We've said it multiple times, that time freedom. So not only financial freedom, but also just being able to live your life that you're actually living instead of just working, to the bone for it. So yeah, I think that's so cool. I'm super, super honored to be a part of it. I can't wait to see where we go just in the next 12 months and how we're going to be able to help this group of people over the next 12 months and then and on, obviously. But Cody, before I let you go, or before we let our team go today, I usually end these with kind of like a spur of the moment question. It's nothing crazy, but you did this to me too on your podcast, by the way, where you didn't tell me the questions and I had to spit fire them. Yeah, rapid fire. So it's super easy. It's nothing crazy. But if this was the last time you ever spoke to this community again, what is the one thing that you want to leave with them with?
If you could think it very clearly, if you could think what you want very, very clearly, and then you put it into words, and then you take relentless action on those things, then anything can be yours. As long as you clearly think about it, understand what you want, put it into words, and you take relentless action towards that thing, you can have anything, literally anything that you want. That's what I want for someone to take away if this was the last time I spoke with them.
Nice. And the best part about that, like just sentence itself, is literally just high level paraphrase of everything that we went over today. So that's fantastic. So if you guys need to go back and rewatch this, if you got to pause it and you got to go start that, exercise, feel free. This is 100% going to be on our YouTube channel in the live playlist for years to come. So Cody, thank you so much. I know we went a little bit over time today, guys. I really, really appreciate all of you here. I just did not see any value in cutting any piece of that conversation because it was so powerful, in my opinion. I feel motivated as heck. So I just really thank you so much for taking your time. I know you got a lot of stuff going on. I hear babies in the background too. So I know that it means the world to us for you to be able to come and hang out with us today, and take some time out of your busy schedule to just be here with the community and show that you're also a human too. Like, this is a human, a creator making a business to help other creators. So thank you for everything that you do for EverBee, everything that you do every day, like for the team, obviously, and for our community as well. And I think that's all we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you next Thursday.
Thanks, Leslie.
All right.
Thanks, everyone. See y'all later.
Yeah. Bye.